Okay, I'd like to tell you about a time in my life, probably 7 or 8 years ago, where I live in what I think is an idyllic life. My life is perfect. I find joy in everything I do. I don't have conflict. And I began to wonder if I were treading water in my progression, and if I should be experiencing more things. I live in a bubble. I live in goodness. I live with family that loves me. I live with church members that love me and I love them. And the things that I do always are productive and bring me such joy that I felt like maybe I had tunnel vision and was just looking at all the good things that were happening in my life and not in how I could grow better. So I began to ask the Lord to teach me lessons that I miss because of the tunnel vision and this perfect world that I live in. And if there were hard things that I would want to know in heaven and want to know on earth, to be more compassionate. And so I began to ask the Lord to teach me new lessons. My first lesson, this is the first lesson, I was working in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Temple in Timpanogos, and I was working a shift, and I was just walking the hall in the basement, and there was $1 on the floor. And I said, oh my, now you have to remember, you have to know, I am quite a poor person. I have sufficient for my needs. I am joyful. I have everything I need, but I live very frugally. So I saw this $1 on the floor, and I thought, ooh, yes, I can get a 7-Up on the way home from the temple, yay. So I put that $1 in there was nobody in the whole basement, so I put that $1 in my pocket and finished my shift and went home and didn't stop to get anything, but went home and put that $1 on the counter and looked at that and said, you know, I found that in the temple. That was God's house, and it's not really mine. I really don't feel good spending it. And so I put it in my tithing envelope and gave it to the Lord for tithing. And so then a week later, exactly, I was at the temple. It was summer. It was 6 in the morning. It was just dawn. And I opened the door of my car and got my bag to get out and go do my temple job, and looked down, and right there on the ground outside the temple in the parking lot was a $100 bill. And I picked that $100 bill up and I put it in my pocket and went to work my shift. And in that first half of the shift, I spent that $100 a dozen ways. I thought, man, I'm going to Costco. I'm going to get all this good stuff. I was just so joyful about it. And then I started to think, if that had been on the sidewalk outside the temple boundaries, or on the street before I pulled into the temple, but it was on the temple property, even though it was outside on the road. And I thought, I can't take that. That's not mine. I didn't earn it. That's God's. And so I took it into to the lost and found, and I said, nobody's probably ever going to come and tell you that they lost this, but here it is, and it's not mine, so you have it. So then I thought about that. So then, because it was $100 is a lot of money to me, but it was the Lord teaching me out of the tender mercies of his heart to teach me about some things are the Lord's and some things are yours. And if you willingly give the Lord what is his, he will always give you more than you gave him. And that was the beginning of 7 years of lessons that I've had, and I could name dozens of lessons that the Lord has taught me, so precious. They are so precious to me. Every lesson, some of them very difficult, and each lesson equally meaningful. And I am grateful for every lesson the Lord blesses me with. And it's still happening, so there you go.